to your favorite learning comedy podcast, History for Fools with Butch Escobar and
What's up, History for Fools?
Felipe Esparza, the guy who slept through history but used to like his teacher, Mr. Shaughnessy. What was your history teacher name? You remember him?
It was Mrs. Fisher. Shout out to Mrs. Fisher.
Shout out to Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Shaughnessy from US History and Government,
And Mrs. Lewis.
third period, Hollenbach Junior High School. You took me without my parents' permission in a Volkswagen and two other kids to a city council meeting. You didn't even ask the school to do this. You just took it upon yourself to I'm going to a city council meeting tonight. Anybody want to go with me and learn about government and politics? Ask your parents, and I'll go and meet me here at around whatever. And I remember I asked my mom, I said, Mom, the teacher wants to know if we're going to this meeting, and he said that he'll give us extra credit. I'm trying to get an A.
Right.
And my mom said, without even knowing how he looks, criminal record, criminal background, as long as he's white, he's all right.
Sure, go for it, mijo.
So he said, you go for it, mijo. So me and this other nerdy girl, that's funny, like she's the nerd, not me. And her and another guy named Miguel, we all went, the three of us, with him to the city council meeting, bro. And we learned, and this fool we saw a different side of him, and he was speaking a lot. And I remember, bro, later on there was a big teacher strike, and I don't want to rat him out. I'm pretty sure he's the one that was in charge of the teacher strike at my junior high school. And I remember looking up at the from my first period class, metal shop, Mr. Tringali, that fool live in Thousand Oaks. You could see the teachers' feet protesting around the school because our school was on a lower. Our class was on the first floor, so like the entrance of the school was like second floor, I guess. But we could see their feet, and I could see Mr. Shaughnessy, Mr. Tringali from way up there every once in a while saying "fuck you."
Like he was like whispering it to him, like mouthing it.
You could see their feet walking around. We need a new contract. And Mr. Shaughnessy would lower his head low enough so we could if he was looking, he could see his face.
Right. Dude, that is hilarious.
He'll say, "Fuck you."
It's funny when you see teachers act like that, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Even like looking back, like when I heard a teacher say a curse word or do something off color like that, it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I had a teacher like that tell me "F you" like that in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He went like this, like only me could see. He went,
oh, like that?
Yeah, and whispered it to me because I had roasted him real hard about something.
Oh, he took it to heart.
I don't know what I said, but it was hilarious. That only him and I and the third. I said it to this kid. He didn't get it, but he got it.
Right. Yeah. It was a direct hit.
Because he said he's a master. He said that he said something about master class or master something. And I went at this master beta. Cause and then we all laughed, and then he laughed when he said "F you" to us, because he knew that my comedy was at a different level already.
Right. Yeah.
He knew if I knew masturbator, he knew what this meant.
Right. Was it cool? So was it a cool way? Wasn't it?
Yeah. His name was Mr. Colgan.
Oh, okay.
Colgan.
I got in trouble one time because there's a teacher that he kept telling. I was being a jerk. He was telling me to do my homework, and I kept like breaking the pencil and going, "Hey, I have to sharpen the pencil." And then by the third time, he's all, "If you have to sharpen that pencil one more time, I'm gonna shove it up your butt." And, and
How old were you?
I was 14, and I bent over and I mooned him.
Damn.
And he goes, "That's it. Principal's office now." He goes, "You're going home." And we start walking towards the office, and we get into one of the conference rooms, and he's like, "I'm calling your dad." He's like, "What's his phone number?" And I was like, "Are you gonna also tell him that you said you're gonna shove the pencil up my ass?" And he's got the phone in his hand, and he hangs it up, and he closes his eyes, and he's like, "We're gonna go back to class, and you're gonna fucking behave." Just like that. He said it like that, and I was like, "All right, dude." You know, we both kind of were on the fence with it. So, but yeah, that was not as friendly. But it was also a moment where he was like, "You understand what I understand."
I had a teacher named Mr. Bass, and it was like physical science, and he was a straight up white teacher, bro. Like he had blonde ass hair, bro. Like his eyelashes were blonde, like little like little swastikas, and his blue eyes,
like the whitest white.
His blue eyes were blue, bro. Like blue, like the ocean where you drown minorities in, bro. Like blue, bro, blue, and
like the ocean you drown minorities.
Like he was blonde, bro.
Special blue.
He was German, bro. He was tall. But anyway, he would get mad, bro, when my brother would come in. So by that time, I was there messing up in class. That me and my brother were in the same class now. Hey, we're in the same class now, Mom.
Dude, that's
my mom was all
crazy.
happy that we're together. Now we're all together. One of them is stupid now.
Bro, that is...
I just been dropped one grade. Nobody I just been dropped one grade. Nobody told me. That's how fucking mean the school system was.
Oh my God, bro. That's funny, dude.
Hey, if you're a little kid,
right
now, 14 years old,
okay,
and your teacher came in and said, the president just took out the board of education or the school intendant or the federal whatever. What is the president trying to get rid of with the executive order?
He's trying to get rid of like birthright citizenship.
No, not that. The education one.
Oh, the Department of Education.
Yeah. So if you were like 14 years old, right,
Okay.
and then your teacher came in and said the president is trying to get rid of the Department of Education, what would you have told that teacher with that statement?
What the fuck is the Department of Education?
I would have been like this. Great, no more homework.
Oh yeah, I mean. That definitely would probably, at 14, you're right. At 14, I wouldn't even be like, what the fuck is the Department of Education?
You don't know.
Dude, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Bro, when you're 14, how things got there and why they're there
So you're 14.
doesn't even hit you, dude.
So you're 14, right? And they get rid of the Department of Education. 4 years from now, you're going to be 18, okay?
Right.
You're going to be ready to vote a new president in. Are you going to be voting for the president that wants to put that department back or the person that wants to keep it out since 4 years went by and you weren't really affected by it?
Well, I'm too stupid at this point now because there is no Department of Education to vote in the right direction. I mean, stupidity is what's paying off right now. Yeah.
Me personally, when I was a little kid, there was no application in English.
For like, for what? For
anything.
Like jobs or whatever.
For anything.
For
It was all.
school?
I'm sorry. Let's rewind.
You're absolutely right, though.
Let's
yeah.
rewind.
Okay.
When I was a little kid, there was no application that was in Spanish. Like if you went to the DMV, everything was in English.
And you had to bring a
If you had to pay for, you had to go buy anything. It was in English only. They didn't have a sign that said English only, but pretty much there was no applications that was in Spanish for anyone or Armenian for anybody.
Right.
Everything was English, which is why you had to bring your son who didn't speak English to translate.
I remember this as well.
And I'll tell you right now, people were picking up that English language faster because if you didn't, you were gonna get left behind. Because when I was a kid, I started kindergarten not knowing how to speak English.
Okay.
Okay, and there was no class for English as a second language when I was a kid. Like there was no ESL.
Do you remember not understanding English?
Yeah. I went in there, bro, and they could have told me, you have the biggest penis in kindergarten. And I would have said that. And I would have said that's what my mom said. Because I didn't know English. Why are you laughing?
Because
I'm gonna repeat it again. And if you laugh, I'm gonna leave the room.
Okay, bro, hold up. Okay, but you said that the teacher said you had the biggest penis.
You just said that the teacher said gonna bend you over and shove a pencil up your butt.
That's true. I did say that, but you're right. All right, you win. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay, say it again.
But I didn't know how to speak English. Basically, I know bad example, but yeah, a bad example. But there was there was no English as a second language. All my shows were in English. There was no button to press to get subtitles.
Right.
None.
Yeah. And there was no
SAP SAP button.
Right. Yeah, I do remember those times. I do remember that being a thing. Even when I started to fill out applications.
Yeah.
Do stuff like as a teenager.
Spanish was spoken everywhere, bro. But I guess now it's called code change. But
code switching?
Code switching, which I don't know why they want to label something that normally any foreigner does. So
right.
I hate when they label stuff like, I mean, we all know that when you're at your job, you have to represent yourself in a professional way. When you're in the hood, you put in on your do-rag, you put in on your Dodger hat and your sarape, you know?
So I just heard this term
Me too.
like 2 weeks ago. And when someone was explaining it to me, because I had a friend that I would get weed from. And when I first met him, he was like from San Francisco. He's from like Hunters Point, from the hood. What's up, Butch? You know, and he would wear and then I would see him I would go pick up money from him at his job or give him money. And he would come out and be like, hey, what's up, Robert? This is my secretary, Karen. And, and he'd like and it was like, and someone was all, that's code switching. And I'm like, that's fucking called surviving, dude.
Surviving.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, this whole calling out someone for doing smart things is...
Yeah, it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it's stupid. You're stupid if you think that there's something wrong with changing. When I'm kicking it with you, bro, we're doing this, and this is how we talk when we're on the road, whatever. But when I go back home and I see a booker... or I talk to even the bookers here, or I see at the Improv, it's a very corporate environment up top, and I'll see like some of the guys, and these guys are my friends too, but it's different. I'm like, hey, Sean, what's up? How's it going? Nice to meet you, bro. Or nice to see you again.
And everyone does it, man. Like everyone does it. Everyone, white people, Chinese people, everyone does it.
You telling me you act the same around your homies that you do around your boss?
You think you speak to your mother the way you speak to your mother, you speak to a homie that you've done the most dirtiest things with?
Right.
No, man. When you speak to your homie, you're saying C words, B words, N words, saying all these words.
Right.
And then when you're back into your job, man, you put on your wig, man. You don't want nobody to know you're a skinhead.
Bro, just when your homie's wife comes into the picture.
Yes.
You're not going to be all like, man, fucking, I took a shit this morning, bro. It was like the size of a fucking football. You're not going to say that stuff.
Or the conversation you and I are having right now about the school system. 9-year-old boy walks in. Hey, man, Disneyland was amazing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the rides.
Yeah.
Am I code switching when I'm doing baby talk to my dog?
Yes, exactly. Are you going to be like, you're going to come home and see your dog and be like, hello, Toffee. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. No, man. I'm going to go over there and keep rubbing her mouth till it turns gray.
But it's called emotional. Like, it's like,
survival.
You know, when I see Ray, I go, Ray, what's up, Ray Gunn? Hey, Ray. That's because I'm happy to see him. It's not code switching. You're changing up the emotion in your voice. You're changing it. Like, this is so fucking weird. What fucking age are we living in where all of a sudden it's like, you're like, you can't be different than, you know, where you are. Like,
I think it started off with a sketch I saw, bro, where there was somebody was hired at this business job, and that person came in all ghetto, bro. And then the other
Oh,
person,
like a Key and Peele sketch or something.
yeah, and then the other person told him, brother, brother. And the other guy said, N-word, N-word, N-word. That's what I mean, brother. The other one said, what are you selling out? N-word, N-word. And then the white dude came in and he goes, how you guys doing tonight? And they both said, oh, we're fine. But that's how you. But see, code switching is cool. But I don't understand. Like, why you gotta label it now?
Why are you labeling it?
Or what? Also, what I don't like is woke. The word woke, whether you use it in a positive way or a negative way. Why is it woke when somebody just has a little more knowledge on the subject that you barely read one sentence
Or you
about?
notice an insensitivity.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is, like, sometimes people, like, mistake me for being, like oh, you're very liberal. And it's like, I'm not, actually. I'm just, like, like, to me, it's not woke to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't refer to that person like that. You know, like, if just to me is like, you watch what you say. You watch what you say because you want to make sure, like, and it's not a matter of like, well, I have the right to say what I want. It's like a matter of like, dude, are you making someone feel uncomfortable? Well, I don't care. Well, you should, because that person feels uncomfortable. Like, here's the thing, bro. It's like, it's not woke for me. Like, I disagree with the whole they, them, he, she, fucking pronoun bullshit, bro.
I think those people should just wear a star with a different color.
And that's fine. But if you ask me to go, hey, they prefer they, them, I'm going to respect it still. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to respect it because it's not an effort for me. And then if I fuck up, don't get mad at me. That's the thing is, don't get mad at me if I fuck up because I'm used to a speech pattern, but for sure I'm going to try to respect your wishes. If you go, if for some reason I respect you and your girlfriend's a goat, and you're like, my girlfriend's a goat, I'm going to be like, and again, if for some reason I still respect you, because I don't know if I'd be friends with someone who, but I'm just saying I would respect.
So it's he, she for heterosexual?
It's he, she for heterosexual. Some people prefer they, them.
What's they, them?
They, them is just a term that doesn't describe he or she. And
which one is this? How about when a person is a she, but now she is a he?
Then you refer to him as a he.
No, a she. How about if he's a he, but now she's a full she?
Then you refer to her as a she.
So she'll have a label?
No, but I mean, if you see someone like dressing like a lady,
she,
I'm gonna assume that they want to be referred to as a lady unless they say something different. I used to have a friend.
Because I was hanging out with a comic, and fuck, I won't say the name. I really thought it was a dude all the whole time.
Right.
But then it ended up being a chick.
Oh,
right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the girl wanted to be. She's acting like a dude all the time. But I was treating that person like a straight up dude the whole time. And then when I found out that he was born as she, I still ended up just not changing my views and just keep calling him what's up, dude, and fool.
Well, if it's the way it's been,
but they didn't mind. They didn't mind.
They probably wanted that. They probably.
Well, I did it naturally because I really thought it was a dude.
Sure, and they probably respected.
And then when I found out it was a woman, it didn't change anything for me.
Right.
I already saw this person as a dude in the first place.
If they corrected you, would you have changed it though? If they were like, "Hey, I actually like to be referred to as a lady,"
then I would have made a joke right away and said, "Listen, man, I want to be considered as Admiral Esparza." And then when they asked me, "What do you want to be called, Admiral for?" Listen, man, now you're getting too personal. Because in my world, I'm a captain.
Right. Sure.
I woke up as an admiral today.
Sure. You can up the ante.
But I always feel like my dentist, and I made it into a bit. My dentist, she now has her neighbor, one of their good friends. They go out dinner with their daughter wants to be a boy now, and she's already a full-blown boy. Like full-blown boy.
Right.
And she's telling me all day about she's fucking cleaning my teeth, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And she wants to be a full-blown boy.
And this is like a teenager or a child still?
Teenager.
And do they have like a penis operation? Or
no, none of that.
Okay,
that's something.
But they dress like a boy. They act like a boy.
But then the parents, the decision is the kid's decision to be a
Right.
boy.
Sure.
But the sex thing, I think that's something. I don't think they do sex changes on children, bro. That's something that a person with an adult. That's crazy.
I've never looked into it. I've heard rumors from the right that they do that.
I looked it up, and you know what?
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Because that's crazy.
It's a
Because
child.
even to me, as
It's
someone,
a child.
right?
It's a child.
Yeah, because they're gonna change their mind.
You have to grow up. At 18, bro. If you have a dress on, and you have a 9-inch penis, and you want to get rid of it,
Yeah.
let me have half of it. Cut a little piece for the gipper over here. And you could be a she, whatever, all day long.
Oh my God.
Just cut half of it, man. You know, I don't mind having a little albino penis. It look like a Duvalin, black and white, or whatever color it might be.
Right.
That should be an option.
Right. Yeah, dude. That's hilarious, dude. Yes. If you have extra penis to give away.
Yeah, be honest.
You
Like,
can
like
reach us
I
at-
think that's the big. That's the right. That's the argument from the right.
Right.
That they're getting rid of a long penis and their penis is small.
Or they're being talked into having sex changes is the one. And the thing is it's like,
Anyway, so
yeah.
let's forget about the sex. What my dentist was talking about was that
God.
she said, I've sold so many Girl Scout cookies for this girl.
Oh, now she's a boy.
And now she's a boy. I'm like, man, can we get that money back?
You're a dentist. They're $5 a box.
But she said
they're delicious and worth
But
it.
she's worried about my dentist is so not like I wanted to tell her, but she had like sharp objects pointed in my mouth.
Yeah, you can't really have
I
a
want to
political
tell her.
discussion
I
with
want to tell
someone.
her it's none of your business.
Yeah, it's none of your business.
Hey, you already made the deal. If I sold you a house, and the next day I wake up and you wake up and you realize you know that guy I bought the house from. This guy inserted eagle wings on his back.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's an American Eagle now. And he goes, I want my house back from that guy. I'll be like, no! 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 Bro, I will fly over her house and shit on her, bro.
Oh my God, bro.
And the deal's done, lady. So she was like more like, because she said that she used to take those cookies and put them in front of the dental office and brag about how much she loved that little girl and how much like she was in ballet and she was
But
in all
did the
these
child
things.
change? I mean, do you love them less now because they are what they want to be?
I didn't have a chance to answer all those
yeah,
questions,
I'm a
bro.
liberal,
She was cleaning my teeth with blood flying everywhere.
Oh my God,
Blood
exactly, bro. Yeah, you
and-
can't like really like. And then the other thing is like, you got shit in your mouth. I hate when dentists fucking talk to me when I have like, so how things going? I'm fucking. You got fucking your fucking fingers in my mouth. That's how they're going,
Bro, she was telling me about this lady was giving out information, bro. Like she was telling me about how her husband works in TV, and there was a comedian there, and they didn't want him to gain any more weight because he had lost a lot of weight. Because they hired people they made everybody sign a release form to not feed him. So and then somebody put a sign that said "Don't feed the bear," and they got all mad.
Wait.
Anyways, but it was funny though. Anyways, so yeah, the fucking dentist, bro, giving out too much information. Just do my teeth.
Just do my teeth and mind your fucking business, bitch.
You took this podcast to the next level, lady.
Right. Dude, exactly.
Anyways, last week we had Monopoly, and we promised to show you the other games. This is
Redneck-opoly. What the?
Redneck-opoly. You landed in Shreveport, Iowa. Go back to Mississippi.
Can I look at the what does the back look like there?
The back, it looks like the back of my hand.
Let me see.
And this one, man, you might get a card that says, "You marry your sister. Collect $500."
Get out of here. That would be great. I can't really read the properties.
Open it up.
You want to open it
Open
up?
it up. Just take out one. I'm gonna open it for you. Go ahead, open it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, we also have the
Ghettopoly.
Ghettopoly. This one right here, man. He goes, you might land, like, you don't go to jail, man. You get shot by a cop. On that one, on the redneckopoly, you get a chance card that says, you just got rewarded with you just won a beauty contest, $10. And I'm thinking, man, how good is that beauty contest if it's only $10?
Bro, these rules already are like funny, dude. Hey, you want?
Broke my glasses, bro.
Don't break your glasses. I got my cracked fingernail to open it up.
Butch got that razor blade nail to cut to a 20 piece of crack into 4 pieces and sell them all for 20 at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
What do you collect, bro?
Dude, I can't find. Oh, here we go. Let's bowl. Wait. I don't know which is go. Because there's like, let's bowl and you win money. Drunk tank. Bar fight. This is go to jail.
Look at what mine says. Mine says Ghettopoly. Stolen property fencing game from Ghettopoly.
That's what mine says on the front too. It's like, it says,
here are the rules,
stolen
bro.
property
It
fencing
says,
game from redneckopoly.com.
this shit is spelled in, the rules are written in, you're gonna die at this, bro. The rules are written in Ebonics.
Get the fuck out of here,
Look,
bro.
instead of the object of the game, it says the object.
Bro, that's hilarious because this one says almost the same exact thing.
Let me see.
The purpose.
Oh my God. The loan shark to begin. Oh my God. It says right here, the object of the game is to become the richest player through stealing, cheating, and fencing stolen property. So these property, bro, they're owned by somebody, but you're selling them illegally. The purpose of the game is to become the richest player. Here it is, bro. He goes, the equipment includes a board, 7 character pieces, pimp, hoe, crack cocaine, machine gun, 40-ounce malt liquor, basketball, and marijuana leaf. 2 dices, 40 crack houses,
Bro.
17 projects, hustle and ghetto stash cards, pink slip cards, a loan shark tray, and counterfeit money.
Bro, that is hilarious.
Here it is, bro. Preparation. Each player is given 2 each of 5 hundos, 1 hundo, 4 each of 50s, 6 dubs, 5 each of dimes, 55 hoes, $1 totaling 1,600. Counterfeit money that remains and other gears go to the loan shark.
Bro, these have the tokens in mine is shotgun, horseshoe, can of chewing tobacco, monster truck trophy, moonshine trucker hat. Oh, that's what that is. That's a can of tobacco, moonshine trucker hat,
For mine is a fucking Uzi.
and a piece of crap.
But mine is a Uzi, a basketball, that clock that grandma have in the kitchen all dusty. And what do your houses look like? Mine are white and brown.
Same. Mine are just white and brown.
One of the
That's so sad. That's fucked up, dude.
What?
Yeah, they're white. Of course, even in redneckopoly and ghettopoly, you're gonna have white houses and brown houses. Oh, but the brown houses are bigger, so maybe that has nothing to do with race. My bad,
crazy, huh?
bro. It's got a little redneck on the money right here.
What did your board piece say?
Okay, let me.
Oh man, here it is, bro. Here it is. It starts right here. It says, "Let's roll." Oh my God, bro. The first house is a Chinese restaurant, and it's a little Chinese guy with a rat face on it, bro. It says creme of some young gay.
Get out of here, bro. Creme of Sun Yoon Gay. Get the what the oh yeah, because all the Chinese. This is L.A.
Yeah, so look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could
Oh,
own.
this is where I live. This is South Central.
I could own the South Side liquor store.
Yep.
Oh my God, bro! George Washington High.
Get the fuck out.
Cheap Tricks Avenue.
Figueroa.
Hell yeah, bro! Let's put it away now. We're gonna play these one day.
I'm down to play these. I'm totally down to play this.
Warning: choking hazard, small parts, not for children under. It's 13, bro. And it's crossed out.
Oh, you mean I can't play this with my kids? I can't play. I can't. Dude, one of the symbols in this is a piece of shit.
You know, rednecks, bro. They have an outhouse.
They love poop. You know, rednecks. They love poop.
Crazy, man.
Wow, bro. You went all out on these Monopoly games.
So we pretty much could do our own part, because which gets me to the next thing I've been thinking about.
What's that?
For our listeners, because this is a Monopoly. I was thinking, because you know I did that show.
Hey, do you have my notes?
Hold on. I did that show Story Wars, right? Story Wars.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, we should come up with a dun dun dun. Hold on, where's my drum?
Oh, did you leave your bongos in the other?
We should come up with a live History for Foos podcast game live.
Oh.
Where you and I go up there with white wigs, powdered wigs.
Okay.
And we have a podcast History for Foos game show where three people from the audience will go up against each other for history knowledge from the podcast. And then we'll just have like categories and
because we have a lot of solid, loyal listeners, I think.
Yeah, we'll have a History for Foos game show with I don't know how the game will be yet, but I just thought about it right now.
Do it at the lab.
Do it at the lab, do it anywhere, bro. We try to get in, and then people could leave winning prizes.
Whoa!
And we'll have one. They would have to go up against a comic that we hire, bro, to be on the show, with just his knowledge of history, whatever he knows, on what the listeners know about the podcast. We'll just tell the guy. We'll just tell the guest. Listen, bro, we're gonna have it's like Jeopardy, bro. All the shit will be up there. Like, I'll take comedian history for 500. Then it'll just be Eddie Cantor.
I like it.
Whatever. Anyway, we'll think about it, bro.
Okay.
You want your notes?
Yeah, can I have my notes, please?
Yeah, man. This is the before we had the comedy Bible. Now we have we had the comedy Bible. Now we have the history lunch sack.
It's Amazon.
This is history lunch sack. Like this fool right here.
I had a rough week, dude.
This fool has bad luck in Kansas City.
Bad luck, Kansas City.
The first time he went to Kansas City, he forgot his fucking, I don't know what he forgot. His phone.
My cell phone in the car.
He left his cell phone
in San Francisco.
And they had that guy mail it to him, and it ended up being in Leavenworth,
which was an hour away. And I had to take, dude. So I left my phone in the cab in San Francisco. I call the guy, and he goes, "I'll send it to you for $300." So I pay him $300. He sends it to me. Puts the wrong address, sends it to Leavenworth, which is an hour away. It cost me $55 for the Uber to get there, $55 to get it back. Like, I'd spent so much money to get my phone, and I was down because I needed the phone. I can't remember why, but I needed it that weekend that bad. And I was so down in the dumps. Rachel Wolfson was like, "Butch, let's go smoke some weed, dude. Let's just chill out, smoke some weed." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, Wolfie, let's go." So she gets us an Uber to the weed shop. We go to the weed shop. I leave my fucking phone in the fucking Uber on the way to the weed shop. That guy only got around the corner, so I only had to pay him. Actually, no, Wolfie paid him $20 because I was all fucking just leave it, and she's like, "No, dude, I'll pay for it." And so she paid him $20 to bring it back. So yeah, that was my first time going to Kansas City. This time,
You had a backpack.
bro, I noted too. I was like, bro, I'm going to Kansas City. Don't fucking leave your phone in the car. Be mindful. I roll up, dude. This is what's fucked up. So I roll up to I get off at the wrong station in Burbank, and I got to take it all the way to the airport, which is like a mile away. So I just grab a quick Uber. The guy picks me up. Drops, dude. I was gonna tip him because he's blazing. He's doing the darting. He's going illegal paths to get to the airport. Like he's kind of going on the sidewalk and then popping over, going in the middle lane, popping back over. So I was like, this guy deserves a good tip, dude. So like he drops me off, and I pull my suitcase out, and I go, hold on, I'm gonna give you a tip. My backpack's still in the car. He goes, all right, and then I blend down. And I go to pull my wallet out, and I just hear a door shut, and then I hear the car take off. And he takes off with my backpack. And that's the last I've seen of my backpack. It had my medications in it. It had my camera equipment. It had like my recording stuff. It had like my Derby jacket that Derby gave me, by the way. I'm sorry to tell you, Derby. Shout out to Derby Jackets. It had all my stuff to like, get ready with, dude. It was like, and then it had my phone on top of it. Had my emergency phone because I put the emergency phone in the backpack because I'm like, remember, stupid? You left your phone in the cab last time. Put your emergency phone in your bag so that if you lose this phone, you have your emergency phone. So I lost that. All that gone. I had my notes in there, everything. So I didn't have anything to write my notes on for this episode. And usually, the weekend right before we do a podcast, I like to sit down for a couple days in the hotel room, nobody bothering me, take my notebooks out and just write while I'm watching, either listening, reading, or watching a documentary on what we're learning about. So I had to write it on the actual so when I got my insulin in the mail, this is what it came in, was this bag right here.
Tell everybody how much the insulin costs in Kansas City compared to Los Angeles.
$70, dude.
78.
$78. And then that was just for the insulin, for like a tiny, like a few shots of it, not like, it was like one pen. And then it was $77 for all the other stuff, like just 3 pills each. So like, if you're complaining about your insurance in California, go to another fucking state, dude. Kansas. I'm not trying to say anything about Kansas.
Shout out to Cypress Hill, man. They're gonna be in Germany in July.
Oh shit!
July 9th.
Nice.
And guess what?
What?
I think I'm gonna buy a plane trip and go over there.
Dude,
I'm off. I know what it came to my head right now, but I'm off. So I think I'm gonna go to that show and then stalk them to their next show and then go to Amsterdam.
You're gonna go to the Stockton one?
Oh, I'm gonna stalk them.
Oh, stalk them. Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck, Germany, then Amsterdam.
Hopefully I get.
In my mind, I'm all wait. They're going to Germany, Stockton, then to Amsterdam.
Hopefully I get backstage passes, homeboy.
Let's fucking go.
Call them an hour before the show, like every other fan. Now before I'm telling food, next time I see them, bro, hey, man, July, I'm going to your show.
Right on, dude. Fucking, that sounds like fun.
People say that, oh, you're not a real fan. Yeah, motherfucker. I follow them to Germany, dog.
Cypress Hill, baby. Yeah, I love Cypress Hill.
I want to hear Insane and Membrane in German, bro. Ich noch in dem Schnee. I was about like when like Cypress Hill, right? They're legends, right? And then they have to play with the symphony. And the symphony had music notes. Like, really? I mean, Ernie Bobo remembers the tune on his bongos.
Right.
Eric, shout out to Ernie Bobo, his dad. Or shout out to Willie Bobo, eh?
Willie Bobo.
Shout out to Felipe Esparza, don't remember names, eh?
We're comedians, we don't remember.
Who the fuck is Ernie Bobo, bro?
I forget names when I'm. Do you remember?
Even the guy who I know his name Bobo, his name is Oscar.
Right.
Oscar Bobo Jaramillo. Okay, so get back to your fucking.
For my notes here.
Let me see the notes right here, man. This guy wrote notes like fucking Socrates.
What did Lisa say? She's all your Declaration of Independence. Yeah, it's just the it's just the back of front back of.
So
an
this
Amazon
week's
package.
podcast sponsor is
And then the
about.
hotel notebook.
It's
thing.
about the Bracero Program, a program that was started during the Great Depression, the first one, and then after World War II, when America needed workers because a lot of people left to go work industrial jobs,
Right.
big paying industrial jobs.
So like after World War One,
Great Depression started, right?
During World War One, we needed people to work, and
What year was that? 1930, what? 34?
When was World War One? 1914.
Yeah.
So during that time, we didn't have closed borders with Mexico. People would just come across. There was no issues, who stayed or who went. And we invited Mexicans to come over and work here in our country. And what that did, that left Mexico with the depletion of iron workers and farmers. And the crops dried up and shit didn't get done. And during the Mexican Revolution, which
That's
was
when they closed the border, because Pancho Villa coming into America.
yeah, because people
robbing
started
banks.
to come over, and since we had already invited them to work here, then they started to come in droves, and so we had a big scare. It wasn't necessarily the operation that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it was a big scare, and it was like, get these fucking people out. We shut the border down. We kicked out a bunch of, and at that time during because that's when the Great Depression happened. When we started to kick them out, they left voluntarily. They estimate close to 1 million Mexican and Mexican Americans left voluntarily because shit was crazy here. And they were getting blamed for everything. They were getting fucking firebombed. They were getting beat up. They were getting harassed. And then, then that happens. And then World War II comes around, and we need, again, we send all our men off to war here in this country. So who's going to work our fields? Who's going to work our railroads? So we start what's called the Bracero Program. Do that. That was going on while I was going over the Bracero Program. Do we have ADD even in our own class? Anyway, back to the Bracero Program. The Bracero Program, Mexico was like, hey, you can't take all our Mexicans again.
Yeah.
Mexico was like, please don't take our Mexicans again like that. Like, let's do something else. And so the United States and Mexico worked out a program where they would send over a bunch of young, hardworking men to come and work in our fields. And they would get paid by the government. And the government would lease these people out to the farms. And then they would stay in a kind of a concentration camp. And then after a period of 3 months, go back home. And that's the Bracero Program. Do you want to go further and talk about the one after that, or do you want to talk
This
about
one, man? The first one.
Let's talk about the Bracero Program for a minute.
Because I know that like as far as field workers, right? Field workers, right? We're talking about field workers in California, right? To work the farms, right?
Right.
Remember when we did the history of Carmel and Monterey and Steinbach?
Yes.
Remember we did those, and we talked about the migrant workers, those migrant workers?
Yes.
Okay, those migrant workers that we talked about from Monterey and John Steinbach era, those migrant workers were white. They were white back in the
Yes.
day, like of mice and men. They were all white.
Yeah, those were
they were all
Okies.
people who left the Dust Bowl
Yeah, those
to
were
go work. They were all Okies, and they
Yeah.
left with nothing. And they were one of they were working hand in hand with Chinese, Filipinos, Mexicans, a lot of shitload of Italians. And when the Dust Bowl settled and the industrial area started, a lot of those migrant workers who were white, they left. They left to go work the industrial jobs, and which was, and then everything, because everything changes, and this now we're talking about they need a lot of workers because the white ones went off to war and they went out to work, make buildings, and get better jobs, and then all that was left was the Mexicans.
Right. Well, and that's the thing now is that after World War II, you know, like
And the Filipinos took off, and the Chinese took off to work in the fishing game.
right. Well, and during the Bracero period, there were some Guamanians that came into work. There were some Filipino people, but it was mostly Mexican people that we brought over. And that was the thing, was that we were, like Felipe said, after the Great Depression, there was a lot of industrialization. Factories opened up. And even Mexicans here in America who were Mexican-American born were not allowed to work in those fucking factories.
No.
And we talk a little bit about Salinas in, I think it was the gang one, but how they have a street called Market Street, and it's gang ridden. Actually, one of the oldest gangs is East Marqueta from Salinas. Please don't get upset with me, Salinas people. But the reason why that was a Mexican neighborhood, and it's one of the first barrios in the country, is because it went from Okies that were selling fruit and vegetables on that street to Mexicans moving in and taking over the farming for these people. And then those people went from those stands to owning what is the big farm industry is now, and are there, their descendants now own it. But those Mexicans, when those people vacated those fruit stands to go take on bigger farms, who do you think took over the little market? Was Mexican people.
Yeah.
And so, and again, in this program, you have the Great Divide. We talk about why Mexicans, I believe this is the majority of our audience is Latino, and most of them are Mexican. And we always, and amongst Mexicans, we talk about the divide. Like, how come we have Mexicans that are from here that fight with Mexicans from Mexico? And then how come there's Mexicans from Northern California that beef with Mexicans from Southern California? And we talk about how we're so divided. A lot of our divisions in this country come from this program, come from the Bracero program, because the Braceros would come supposedly legally, and then but what happened is that these farmers don't give a fuck, dude. They'll pay the 20 cents or the whatever they owe to the government to pay you, but they're only going to hire 10 of you, and then they're going to go hire 50 guys that just crossed the border, that just crossed the border through the Rio Grande. And they're going to pay them less. And then
less than the Bracero program. Huh?
Also, what they would fucking do is they would go, okay, 100 of you guys, go work the fucking fields. When you're done, come back and get paid. When they come back to get paid, guess who's there to greet them? INS and Department of Immigration to deport them, because the owner would call them. So like,
scandalous.
But that's the thing though, is that we would sit there and Mexicans would be like, those guys aren't supposed to be here because they're they came here illegally. And then Mexican Americans that were born here would look at the Braceros and go, those guys are taking our work. And then we sit here and we got jobs and we're starting to move up in the industry. And then white people are like, those guys are taking our fucking jobs. So it's like it's a downward spiral that the government created. And it's all about, this is all about money, by the way. This is all about, what else would it be? What else would you?
Basically, man, America always wanted free labor.
Right.
Or cheap labor.
Right. And that's the thing, man, is you can't have a capitalist society
without cheap labor. Huh?
Without cheap labor. Have you ever seen type in the period of capitalism, and it's a painting of like It should be a painting of like maybe a king and queen on top, and then underneath it is like their court, and then underneath it, but they're platforms, and each group of people is holding up the platform, and it's called the Pyramid of Capitalism. It's interesting because again, you can't. Not everybody could be fucking famous actors and famous comedians, and yeah. So that's one of the versions of Pyramid of Capitalism.
That shit. Let me see how it looks. What's on the bottom, bro?
Us.
Laborers.
Yeah, laborers. You know, and that's
the guy with a hat, bro, the fat
but
one.
there's one that's actually more extensive. It's like Pyramid of Capitalism. Yeah, it's this one right here. It's this one. Yeah, see here, you can look at it close. That way you don't have to. So yeah,
capitalism. We rule. The second one. The third one on the bottom is we fool you. And the other one is we shoot at you.
Yep.
And then the other one is we eat for you.
It goes lower.
And then the bottom is we feed all.
There's lower than that.
And then la pyramid. It's in French too. If you don't speak French. Le capitalisme. Nos vos gouverneur. I don't know how to read French.
There it is. There's the bottom part of that. That's us right there. So that's the thing is
That's
that
a dead person right there, bro.
we feed all. We die.
But there's somebody starving right there in the bottom.
Yeah. You got to have that. You got to have homeless people. You got to have classes of people in order for capitalism to work. Because not everybody could be like rich people that are like controlling things. Not everybody, and even then, like if you're rich, there's super rich. There's fucking wealthy.
So what was the wetback? What was Operation Wetback?
What do you mean? As far as this pyramid goes?
Yeah. No. As far as the
I'm sorry. Yeah. So when did Operation Wetback come along?
It was Operation Wetback, another program to bring workers in or take people out. Oh, when was this started?
This was started
Depression.
Because 1942.
Let me see that one.
So sorry, my notes are fucked up, you guys.
It'd be good to interview one of the bus drivers.
August 4th, 1942 to 1964 was the Bracero Program.
What year?
August 4th, 1942.
So what year? When did it stop?
1964.
Wow, it stopped. What year? You know exactly what date?
I don't know exactly what date, but
that's funny, man. That's funny. They got rid of the Mexican invasion to allow the British invasion because 1964 was when the Beatles showed up. Operation Wetback led the way for the British invasion in 1964.
So,
April 4th, 1964, when the Beatles were first on the Ed Sullivan Show.
So when did World War II end? Okay, in 1945 is when World War II ended. So 42 is when they started the Bracero Program, and they were bringing them in, and they were working for us. 45 is when the war ended. So I'm assuming around 46.
51.
47 is when the country starts to go back to work.
51?
Okay, so in 1951, let's fast forward to 1951.
What are your toilet paper?
There is a New York Times article, which is crazy because New York Times is like the super liberal fucking newspaper. New York Times wrote about the wetback problem, that now there's too many Mexicans here.
So now the wetback is being used as a negative?
No. So at this time, and that's the thing, is that wetback didn't become a negative term until the late 60s, early 70s. At this time, it was just a reference to the people that came here illegally versus the ones that came here through the Bracero Program. You had Braceros and you had wetbacks. And the reference is basically, and I've heard all these different stupid stories growing up about what the term was. It's simply just dudes that came across the fucking Rio Grande that just crawled through a river to get here, and that they were wet, they were covered with water.
They used to call us wetbacks when we were kids,
Dude.
other kids, but I thought it meant welcome back.
Well, part of the problem.
So we'll go.
Part of the problem is that when they needed guys to be part of the Bracero program, they did what was called drying out a wetback, and that was they would pick up an illegal
And hang them up in Whittier Boulevard and the clothing.
no,
and
they'd
the-
pick them up as an illegal on the street. They'd drive them to the border. They'd be like step over the border and come right back. And they'd step over the border and they'd come right back and they go, "Do you want to be in the Bracero program?"
I was born for this.
Yes. Boom, you're a Bracero now. Now go. And that's how they would. So they would like, because you have two factions here. You have the State Department that doesn't want these fucking people here at all.
Operation Wetback, keep illegal Mexicans out.
Right. You have the State Department that doesn't want these people at all that enacted the Operation Wetback. But you have the Labor Department that is like, we need these people to help facilitate, because the Labor Department isn't doing anybody any good either. It's people like ranchers and farmers that are like, we need this cheap labor. Part of the problem is in fucking in California, they were kind of doing it right. But in Texas, they were treating them like complete dog shit. Texas got suspended from the Bracero program like 3 times because they just wouldn't pay these guys, or they'd have them deported by the cops. Or dude, there was a group of people, 800 guys in one story that they sent back. Half of them were born in the United States and were American citizens, but didn't know it. And they stayed in Mexico for like long periods of time, only to find out like when they were older that they were actually American citizens. And again, like when you're getting deported, bro, they're not going to be there. Like, it's like this. I'm a cop. Hey, do you have your papers on you? Are you an American citizen?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have your papers on you?
Do you have yours?
I'm the cop. Just go with what I'm saying. Do you have your papers on you?
I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born here.
But do you have your papers though? Do you have your passport? Is your passport on you?
Yes.
Oh, you have it on you right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well then never mind then. You ruined my thing. But if you didn't, which normally
Let's try it again.
but normally do you
Try
have
it again, bro. Character. I'm doing character.
okay, we're doing character. Do you have your papers on you?
No.
Are you an American citizen?
No.
You're supposed to say yeah to that.
Okay, go ahead again.
Let's say you're born Mexican, but you speak
All
only
right.
Spanish because you're living in Southern California. Like in this time,
Do
Mexican.
it again, bro.
Are you an American citizen?
Yes, I was born in Salinas.
Okay. Do you have your papers to prove that? Do you have papers? Do you have papeles?
I didn't know I need them.
What about okay? Do you have your passport?
No.
Okay, hook them up. Send them to Mexico. That's what they would do, bro. So it didn't even fucking matter, bro.
I would have been arguing, bro.
Like
Fuck that.
I don't have right now. I do not have my passport on me or my papers. I only have my California ID. They would have picked me up back then and sent me to Mexico. And they didn't just send you to Mexico, bro. They didn't just send you over because again, we're looking. We see that we're flying all these people out, and we're
I think they would let you go, bro,
why?
because you don't look Mexican. I think all you had to do, bro, was grab 5 guys who do look Mexican and put a noose around their throat, and you would have said, "These are mine."
Just run into a group.
You
of
would have said, "These are mine."
These are my Mexicans. Don't be bothering me with my Mexicans. Yeah.
But if you were like, I think back then, bro, a lot of immigrants, they were scared because it was an all new world.
Right.
That's what makes Born in LA so funny, bro. Because when he's giving out the fake IDs, he's giving them backstories. Okay, man, your name is Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
And last year, you had 6 shutouts.
So when the New York Times put out the wetback problem, because now people are talking about too many Mexicans after World War II taking our jobs, and they come out with a 5-piece news story called the wetback problem. And again, at this time, it wasn't considered derogatory on either side, friend or foe. They called them wetbacks. But nevertheless, America's like, we need to fucking do something. So the State Department. And it wasn't under any president. It was under a guy named Joseph Swing. Sorry, my bad. There was Truman was president at the time, and he hired a guy that was an AGT that hired Joseph Swing, who was was a commissioner of the INS. And this guy hated Mexicans. And so he hired another guy, Herbert,
He even hated his brown shoes.
Harlan Carter. Harlan Carter was the director of field operations, and this guy was in the military, but did 3 years for murdering his wife, and 3 months later gets out.
She must have not been white then.
And becomes director of field operations. And then at that point, they're like, we're going to do like a military strike. We're going to hit every Mexican, and the goal is to remove Mexicans and get them out, and then charge the farmers and the people who hire them. But
they would never got me, bro. I'm a second amender, bro.
The government was like, no, you're not going to charge the people who hire them. You're just going to get rid of the Mexicans. And so, yeah, that's him, I think.
Fat neck, huh?
So day one, bro, they hit street corners, factories, brickyards, industrial homes, set up roadblocks, and they fucking start deporting them. And then there's concentration camps in the middle of our cities. Like in LA, there was one in Elysian Park.
A concentration camp.
It was only held like 100 guys, so it wasn't too big.
They shaved their heads and they were bad or what?
That came like that's actually, bro, that's crazy that you said that, because in a lot of the pictures, when you look up Operation Wetback, you'll see guys smiling and stuff. Yeah. And so like what would happen is those guys are laughing because they're gonna come right back. And they
Who's
would
laughing? The guards?
No, the people being deported. You know, because you see them in some of the early pictures. Look up day one, Operation Wetback, and you'll see that this was just a big photo op. You know, this was just to just march Mexican immigrants in front of cameras. They invited the press to come, and so you'll see in these pictures, some of these guys are kind of laughing because they're like, we're just going to come right back. It's easy as fuck. I mean, they come now. Can you imagine back then, bro, how easy it was to cross the border?
Let me tell you, bro. I know I've done this before, but with this is sad. So they treated them like insects and shit.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time, bro, I took a roach out of my house, and I took that food to the bathroom. And that fool made it back to the bedroom, bro. He was on top of my back. So.
Wait, did you try to throw him in the toilet or something?
No, I saw a roach one time in the kitchen, and I thought, I don't want to kill this fool. He was the first friend I've had in a long time. So then I put that fool in a kit, and I just tossed him somewhere else, and that fool made it back, bro. And nice. I could tell that the roaches from the bathroom jumped his ass, bro.
They fucked him up, dude.
He came back crawling, bro, to where I first saw him talking about West Side.
What's up, Felipe?
So what they did was, so you're saying that these guys were smiling because they're gonna come right back?
Yeah, see that guy right there? Yeah, he's kind of laughing because he knows he's coming right back. But they started to they set up a barbershop at each of the concentration camps, and they're going
to a concentration camp, not home Mexico.
No, they're going to concentration camps being processed out, fingerprinted, and then they're being sent to the border, and then their trains. At first, they were flying them. So again, we talk about flying, immigrants now, and we're like, oh my God, Trump is actually taking a piece of Truman's book and doing exactly what he did. Like what we're seeing happening right now is Operation Wetback on a much larger scale. But what they would do, bro, this is fucked up. Yep. So they would fly them out and they would drop them off in the middle of a fucking desert. Okay. And then they would say the closest city is in that direction. And they would leave them with no water and no food and just enough, energy to sustain them to get to the nearest town. Reporters would try to follow them and say that they would get through the desert and they would go for about half a day in the desert and then they would turn around. because it felt like their skin was cooking in their clothes. So what they started
120 degrees, huh?
what they started to do with the repeat offenders is they would shave their heads. But this was deemed by the courts to be unusual punishment, so they stopped doing it after a while. Yeah, offenders were sent to the they were, and again, bro, they would send them out into the middle of nowhere, take away their food, take away their water. They would do that, and then when that was deemed cruel and unusual, what the next thing they would do is they would fly them as far south down to Mexico and drop them off. Now imagine you're a mom, and this is a true story, bro. There's
Tell a story about that lady.
This lady, his name is Elvira Velasquez. Her and her
Elvira Velasquez.
Yeah, her and her 10-year-old daughter were pulled.
She was illegal or legally?
She was here illegally. And
what year? 60s?
This was 54.
1954
during Operation Wetback. She gets picked up with her 10-year-old daughter and taken back to Mexico. But what they didn't know, and this was happening a lot. This is not an uncommon story. She had 3 daughters back at home, and when that was brought to the attention of the INS, they tried to go find out where they left her, because again, they drop them off in the middle of nowhere or in some city they've never not familiar with, and then they're like, dude, imagine if I fly you to Mexico right now, bro, but not where you're from or not where you visited. I fly you to like
Oaxaca.
Yeah.
Far.
And there, you got nothing except what you're wearing right now. Not even like money, nothing. And I drop you off. Even now in the digital age, bro, you'd still have a hard time getting home. Like imagine back then.
And that'll be covered in our new game, Wetbackopoly. Wetbackopoly. Do not pass go. Go directly to the middle of Mexico.
We're still getting shadow banned for this. But anyway, Elvira Velasquez was a lady who they couldn't find her. So these 3 kids became orphaned. There's another kid who the teachers were kind of getting concerned about because he started to look malnutritioned and fucked up and dirty. And they go, "What? Dude,
what happened to your homework? I ate it.
Where's your parents?" They're like, "Where's your parents?" Stop making me laugh at this shit. He's like, the teacher's like, "Where's your parents?" And he's like, "Oh, my mom got deported." This is an 8-year-old. My mom got deported like 6 days ago.
Fuck.
And this was happening, and they were just pulling people out. The government overall, in conclusion, the government found this as a success. Because they were like, we deported less people the year after, and they claim that they deported over 1 million people. Closer estimates gauge it around 300,000 because people would get deported, come right back, get deported again, come right back. Even
while all this was happening, people were still coming in, huh? Illegally, huh?
Illegally.
Even right now.
Yeah, but the difference, dude, during Operation Wetback,
they took innocent people.
In California, in liberal California, we were all for it. Get them dude, we would see him walking down the street and snitch, bro. All of California was a little bitch, dude. But in Texas, they were like, fuck no.
What year was this?
Cheap.
The 50s?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Now, let's go take us back to when we're talking about gangs of Los Angeles. All the gangs the hardcore gangs that you see right now were all started during this time.
Yes.
All started this time. And they were all started for protection against white people out there snitching and grabbing motherfuckers.
Right.
So the gang White Fence, you hear the big ass gang, the big fucking White Fence gang. White Fence was started just for that. Because a lot of Mexicans were getting pulled over, getting beat up on the way to work.
Yeah, they were
innocent.
Groups.
So White Fence was started. Big White Fence.
Yeah.
Big Frogtown. All these gangs were started for the protection of the neighborhood.
They were protection.
And then later on, man, you know what happens? Gangs become gangs. But they were all there to protect us, to protect the people in the neighborhood.
I can't leave out this part either about this. So what happened is that, let's say you get deported back, right? You go back to processing. You go to Elysian Park.
Yeah.
You get processed out. You get put on a train, like fucking cattle. You're not sitting in a fucking seat. You're like a Jew going to fucking concentration camp. They put you on a train all the way back to fucking Oaxaca, right? And then when you get
Where?
there, Oaxaca.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you fucking get dropped off, okay? And there's signs all the way back to Mexico saying the United States does not allow illegal immigrants, but we are looking for workers. So go sign up. And really all they're doing, bro, is sending you back to go get processed to come right back in the Bracero program.
They come back legally, basically.
Right. But you want to know what they're doing, dude? Is that they're fucking the farmers, dude, and I saw this all over when I was watching videos. They would corral these people, these men, and the farmer would come and go. Deport him, deport him, deport him, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back, deport him. So the farmers were picking people before they'd leave to come right back and work for them. And they were buying all this. This is basically, bro, this was modern day slavery. And I'll also note that the UN had fucking admonished the United States several times during this period that they were treating these fucking people like slaves.
That's how that thing was started. But we used to play hide and go seek, and we'll pick together, gonna look out. We used to go like this. Mini, Jose, Juan, and Fro got deported out the door.
No way, really?
We went like this.
No
I
way.
made it up.
Oh, okay. I'm like, man, ghetto games are fucked up because we used to play.
Catch that N-word by the toe.
No, it was it was grape. You know but it was three of us, and we would jump out of a van and run, and the other two would have to catch us.
It's funny, man, because that was like a running joke growing up as a kid. We would yell out, "La migra!"
Yeah, dude. We actually had the same. Like, there was an old van in my mom's parking lot of her center, and we would hide, and it was like a game of cat, like tag, and we would hide in the van, and then if you were La Migra, you'd come to the door and go, "This is La Migra, come on out," and we'd open the door and start running, dude, and fucking.
There's a movie that has Operation Wetback in it. It's called Mi Familia, My Family, with Edward James Olmos.
That's right.
And the mother is on the way home to Boyle Heights, and they take her, bro, and she was legally here.
She was legally here. Well, and that was the thing, was that
Remember, her son was Isa Morales, bro.
we deported so many people that were supposed to be here, that were legally here.
Here it is.
But we're talking about this right now. Fucking great movie, by the way. I love this movie. But we're talking about shit that's happening now. Like, if you look in the paper right now, I just saw this morning, not in the paper, on the news, they're bringing back at least 10 people that they deported. I can't remember where, that were actually that were American citizens. And so, and again, we're watching this happen.
How many illegal Eastern Europeans have they grabbed?
Back then or now?
Now.
Now, we do have a huge problem with that as well.
But how many have they grabbed illegally? Like Operation, what's that name of Little Hammer, bro? The Russian Hammer?
Oh, Sickle and...
Operation Sickle.
They do. Well,
and they grab all the Eastern Europeans.
Dude, what's funny is that, like, after intensely watching, all these documentaries, like, I kind of...
If you had a green card right now, you'd be worried?
Yes. Especially when you're watching...
You got to renew it, huh?
When you're watching those students getting deported right now because the protests and stuff.
Yeah.
Trump's basically saying, I don't give a fuck if you have a green card. I'll still deport you. And the courts have already been like, yeah, like, it's a thing. Because you can get it revoked. I mean, there's nothing that...
When the Roosevelt started the Operation Wetback, or Eisenhower?
It was...
Was that an executive...
Truman. It was under Truman.
Was that an executive order, or he went through Congress to do
Truman
this?
actually almost had nothing to do with it. He went to his AG.
What's AG?
Attorney General.
Uh-huh.
But
so it was not... But they go through
he went to his Attorney General, Herbert Brownell, and said, you deal with it.
So it wasn't something that he went through Congress and they voted on. Because I know that the president now, they're just executive orders. And executive orders are just something that you just go without asking Congress or going through Congress. Because I know that President Obama, when he did his massive scale immigration,
yeah,
it went through Congress, and because he did it in a way where to let Republicans know that I am dealing with this problem,
Right.
and you're gonna have to vote yes.
Well,
And so they all voted yes, and then all the Democrats voted yes. So then he went out there and started grabbing motherfuckers.
this wasn't
He
necessarily.
grabbed my brother. He grabbed
Oh,
my
no
brother. Yeah, my
shit.
brother was grabbed.
Your brother got deported by Obama?
3 strikes, you're out. And my brother was grabbed through Obama for deportation, and he was grabbed and imprisoned by Bill Clinton's 3 strikes law.
Oh, wow. Your brother fell into it with the presidents, dude.
Yeah, so but you know, it's different. It's a different narrative. You know, some people like to announce what they're doing, and some people don't like announce.
Right.
Like, are you gonna really let people, everybody know that Republicans and Democrats got together with President Obama to do a mass deportation?
Well, that's the thing. This is grandstanding, is all it is.
It's all grandstanding.
Yeah, it's all
And
grandstanding.
what this president is doing, he's just doing executive orders, doing things without doing which is the right way. Well, let's vote on this. Just do it right now, which is
Right.
why everything he's doing is going back into the courts.
Well, and that's the thing, is that he knows it's going to do that. He's gumming up the courts.
Which is why those people got sent back.
Right.
They grabbed them. They were citizens.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, in all fairness to Truman, at the beginning of his term, when he got voted in, he wasn't dealing with the problem yet. This didn't become a problem until the New York Times.
Was a liberal.
So, dude, when I went through everything, Operation Wetback, the whole, dude, even now, everything has to do with the media. Like this all has to do with the politics and media. Like the media fucking scaring people into thinking that fucking wetbacks were taking their jobs in fucking the 1950s after we did the Bracero program.
I
And
know,
mind
like-
you, Operation Wetback was in the middle of the Bracero program. The Bracero program didn't end until like 10 or 11 years after Operation Wetback had finished.
You know what's funny about the Bracero program is that there is no Bracero program now, but there's a similar thing to a Bracero program going down right now between the person that's getting rid of works for Doge,
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yes, he's trying to get HC something green cards,
Oh yeah, the HV1s.
HB1s
Yeah.
for Indian and engineers, people who actually work with data and coders, because and here we go back to the same program, the same problem. We don't have enough. Back then, we didn't have enough people to work the fields,
Right.
so we had to go to Mexico or wherever. And now we run into a problem where we don't have enough coders.
We don't have enough engineers. Yeah.
Enough engineers, so we're gonna have to go get them from other countries, and
We
this is
have
where
to.
the fight is right now
Right.
between the hardcore people who are MAGA,
Right.
who are saying, "Why are you kicking wetbacks out?
Right.
I'm sorry, why are you kicking Mexicans out, but allowing these guys in?
Right.
And then you're training one brown for another brown."
Well, here's the thing that people don't fucking normally know. The United States is on a decline. In order for a country to grow,
Don't
you
you
need
dare,
to have
bro.
1 to 2 children per woman in a country. Okay? Like that's a matter of statistical fact.
But what?
For a country to keep growing, you need to have 1 to 2 children per woman in your country. We are in a huge decline.
Well, my problem is I gave half of my peanuts to Felipe Esparza.
Well, there you go. See, so we're in a decline right now. We are in a decline as far as having children. So that means the United States is not growing. We need to grow to become more economically powerful. Constantly, we need to keep growing. So the only way to supplement that is by bringing people in. We need to have people come into this country. The whole idea of just shutting down the borders and letting
So
no
the
one in,
plan,
fucking crazy.
so the plan is to bring in coders to have sex with white women.
Yeah, I guess that would be a good program. I would approve that program.
So you're saying that a lot of people. So you think that's why they said they legalized? No, sorry, they got rid of abortions so people can have babies, even if they're not unwanted babies.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think the
I
whole
think that's a whole
abortion-
different show called "You and the conspiracy theory.
I could go about that all day, but I think the abortion stuff has to do with more having power over women.
So they got rid of the Bracero program, right? And they never brought it back.
They didn't need to. There was another program that took over. You know, Reagan came out with his own program, and then
What was his program?
I don't know.
187.
Well, and that was the thing, is that this country's constantly been divided on immigration. But like, again, people, it sounds cliche, but it's like, who the fuck's gonna pick your fucking vegetables? If you literally, if white people wanted to work in the fields and you hired them and you paid them what they would demand,
They could.
then you'd be paying $5-6 for a can of fucking peas.
Hey, white people were to get together, like all the ones who don't have jobs, just say a nice 500 of them.
Right.
They would have walked in marching to these farms and said, listen, man, you're going to hire us now. We're U.S. citizens. You're going to get rid of all these other workers who are not here illegally. And you're going to hire us, and you're going to give us a decent wage, a decent wage, minimum wage, all of us. We're going to work 8 hours, and we're going to get time and a half, and you're going to give us dental, and we're going to be allowed to form a union. He's going to use all, that farmer will use all his power with all the farmers together. Yeah, you want to get together? Okay.
Right.
He'll get all the farmers together, all the farmers in America, and have someone write a letter that there's these Russians.
Right. These commie bastards are demanding from me impossible things that are
They're demanding free dental, free dental for all their work. Listen, man, you better take that fucking red hammer the fuck out of here, bro.
You and your red hammer,
For real,
get the fuck out.
They would find a way to not hire them.
They would fucking
legally.
label them something.
Label them something.
And that's what, dude, we're dealing with this right now. Where they're like using, like, if you look at words that the administrations use for Operation Wetback to encourage people to, because again, they were like, hey, you guys need to call when you see them.
Hey,
like, this
how
is
about
a
when they
community
say
effort.
they're not sending their best? Well, they were good. They did send their best back then.
They did.
But I
They
still
still
program.
are.
But you didn't want them.
Yeah, you didn't want them. And that's the thing, bro, is like, but these guys are like saying invasion, hordes. And this was what the vocabulary that was used in Operation Wetback. And this is the same vocabulary that Donald Trump and his, here we go, that the current administration is using to describe people now coming across our border. Hordes, this invasion, this whole thing.
We need to take our country back. Let me tell you, man, the country is fine.
Country's great. We're the richest.
The media
fucking
be
nation.
lying, huh?
The media lies. Dude, this is the one thing, bro. I've never...
Like, how did they take it? I know they took Huntington Park, but we're never going to get it back.
I'm not a fan of
Media.
calling out, false news and all that stuff. And I really didn't want, like, bro, honestly, up until this week, I didn't really think the media. I thought we kind of exaggerated about the media. But this spurred simply because the New York Times, again, liberal rag, was like, we have a fucking problem with these wetbacks. And then all of a sudden, the United States
But you're over there in New York. How do you know?
We got a problem with wetbacks. We need to do something, And then all of a sudden, it becomes a scare. And it's who controls the media.
It is, bro. Like everything.
Fuck yeah, baby.
It's like the steroids problem, Mike. Like nobody had a problem, bro, till it went to Congress.
Exactly. Remember when? Do you remember when pit bulls got outlawed? Do you remember when pit bulls became a thing? In the mid '80s, a kid got attacked by a pit bull going into a backyard and killed. And it was in Morgan Hill. It became a national story. And then within a few months, there were pit bull attacks on TV everywhere. And then pit bulls became illegal. And then even to now, you can't live in a place without your pit bull. But the thing is that pit bulls have been part of our lives since way before. They're like the nanny dog, right? They were the dog that took care of your kids. But it just took a few news things, and I'm only using this as an example because we weren't worried about pit bulls until all of a sudden that happened. Same with like killer bees. Fucking remember when killer bees were going to be taking over and we'd all have to hide in our houses forever? That was supposed to happen in 2000.
Yeah, what happened to
2001.
Ebola?
What happened to Ebola? You know, like, again, dude, like, more people.
What happened to us?
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy guy again. More people are dying from sicknesses right now, from the flu that we have that's been going around. You notice that people have been getting sick lately a lot?
No, I haven't noticed.
More people have died this year than in
Who
the
you hanging
first
around
year.
with?
Than
You're on plane trip, bro. You hear nobody. You see nobody.
well,
dying.
I work over at the Improv, so we get people calling sick all the
They're
time.
fucking lying, bro.
But no, this is a statistical fact.
Yeah,
that more
callback.
people have died from the flu and severe colds this year than the first year of COVID. So, again, you know, what does the news do to you? What does it make you believe? What are you afraid of? You know, bro, like
I bet you one of these days, bro, there's gonna be a disease that's gonna be started by illegal immigrants, and they're gonna call it the Bracero swine flu, and then people are gonna run with it.
right.
What happened, bro? I don't know, man, but it feels like a bunch of oranges just hit me in the head.
Have you been noticing the plane crashes lately? Everybody has, right? Well,
They always crash.
they always crash. They've been crashing. And then a lot of them that you're watching, like the one that happened in Philly, where it came straight down dude, that was a small plane. Small planes crash all the time.
Bro,
What's crazy is we've had a couple in the last,
you were living in the Bay.
yeah.
Do you remember a plane crashing in Burbank?
No.
And well, it did.
Right.
5 years ago, a plane missed the runway, and it braked didn't brake, and he went all the way through, and he made it all the way over there by Alaska. You know where the train tracks?
Yes.
The plane stopped right there.
No
finally,
shit.
because of the brakes.
But no one said nothing.
Nobody. We saw it in the news, but it didn't go on fucking. You didn't see fucking Rachel Maddow going, another plane crashed.
Right. But now that the thing happened over
Because of the president.
right.
Because the president got rid of something, and now we gotta let everybody know what.
Right. And that, again, is media spin. Again, I don't want Donald Trump to be our president, but I don't think he fucked up the FAA that quickly. The FAA's been fucked up. We've had problems because it's not an interesting job to have. I mean,
during Ronald Reagan's administration, he was supposed to like backing up the what are those people who working at the control place where the
air traffic control.
Air traffic. Look up. Ronald Reagan gets rid of aircraft controller.
Air traffic control.
Air traffic controller union. And
Oh,
during Ronald
yeah,
Reagan, they all said we're gonna vote for Reagan, and then they went on strike for more money during his administration. And then he said, "What are you guys doing? You guys control all the planes in America."
Yeah.
And he got rid of the air traffic controllers, bro. There it is. Look.
Huh.
He made it from the Rose Garden, from the White House.
Yeah, dude. You know, that's the thing, is that it's not a very interesting job. You
But
don't
see,
hear kids saying,
that was
"I
a
wanna
big
go-"
announcement, bro. And then it went all over the news. And you know what, man? That's he got rid of them. He got rid of them, bro. The little baby too. Get out of here. Those are all white people protesting.
Yeah, dude.
And then after a while, bro, a bunch of news about plane crashes all of a sudden during his administration.
Right. Yeah, that's when, and that's the thing. Oh, that's right. And again, you know, like there have been instances, you know, again, I'm not gonna say that the shit that's happening with fucking with
hijackings, bro, were big when we were little kids.
right.
And then it just stopped.
That had a lot to do with like security, but like the shit that's happening with Boeing, I'm not gonna deny it's happening. Like all the shit that's happening with fucking like the plane crashing over the Potomac, those are happening for a reason. But that's
how about when that plane crashed when they made it into a movie, that drunk fool?
Oh,
Tom Hanks.
When he fucking no, that you're talking about two different stories. Tom Hanks is the one that he flew. He
landed in the ocean.
And then
Hudson Bay.
And then the one with Denzel where he does a fucking barrel. He does a what do you call them? a barrel maneuver or whatever the fuck they're called. Yeah, barrel roll, and that's a true story. That's actually a true story. And they found that if he hadn't performed the way he did, they would not have survived.
History for Fools, bro. But I set up program. When did it end?
Operation Wetback. It ended in 1964.
But they took a lot of people, huh?
They processed over 1.5 million.
But it's funny, man, how like we got rid of Operation Wetback. We got rid of a bunch of wetbacks. A bunch of people here illegally, right? Because before they will tell you, okay, it's illegal to come into this country, but you come in, right? Okay. Then you get caught a second time. Now they arrest you. It's always been illegal to come into this country. It just depends on what administration is gonna enforce it.
Right.
And this administration is enforcing it. All of them enforce it, but only one showed it in the news.
Right. Yeah. And that's how. I mean, again, I think that's.
So they gotta keep the voters happy. They gotta make sure they're doing their jobs. And it's funny, man, how the people who do, but does it really affect you? No.
No.
You should do Operation Repo.
Operation Repo Media.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
how long we been talking?
Like 1:30.
All right, bro.
Yeah, you want to wrap it? Three for Fools, and then we'll go out of it. Plug some dates.
What's up, man? When you coming? Where are you gonna be at?
I'm actually with you. By the time this comes out, I'll be with you in McAllen and Corpus. And then my April dates, catch me in Santa Cruz. I got a show in LA. Check out my Instagram, Butch Escobar. It's just at Butch Escobar, and I have my dates and my posters up there.
What's up, fool? We have a lot of new listeners to the History for Fools. I saw your comment.
Oh,
shout out to Ben Wood. Ben Wood, you went through the whole series. Now you're here at Operation Bracero.
Right. And thank you for everybody that comes up to us at the shows, comes up to me at the Improv, or people who just stop me. Shout out to CJ for stopping me on Sunset Boulevard and making me feel like a celebrity. That was dope.
Also, shout out to my big fan that showed up with his wife, my big Viking fans. Bro, I never seen I seen long beards like yours. I seen a lot of beards, but I never seen a full blonde one.
Oh yeah, I know those are.
That
rare.
fool had a blonde one, bro. That fool looked like he just came from throwing lightning at the earth.
When he listens to the podcast,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. What's up, bro?
Everybody who came to Indianapolis, everybody who came to Grand Rapids, everybody who came to
Kansas City,
man. And shout out to the owner with your mohawk.
dude. Dustin, fucking, you're rad, homie, dude. I love you for what you did this weekend. Thank you.
All my dates are at FelipeWorld.com. New dates coming up, man. I'm gonna be coming to hopefully to Washington. I'm coming to Yakima already, but I'm having dates in December, man. So many dates popping up. I might be at I'm definitely gonna be at the Irvine Improv. Don't have a date yet, but it'll be this fall. I'll be at the Irvine Improv, and I'm also gonna be maybe at the I said yes to a show in Boston. Oh yeah, if you're looking for Boston dates, I might be going to Boston, not just one night, the whole week.
Whoa!
So look out for that, man. I haven't been there in a long ass time.
Yeah.
Later, fools.
Later, guys.